We have major updates on the future of Sasha Banks, and Tony Khan has announced that huge changes are coming to AEW. But first, let's get to the quickfire headlines, starting with last night's ROH Final Battle pay-per-view, the third Ring of Honor event of the Tony Khan era. The show would see a brand new ROH Women's Champion crowned, this when former champion Mercedes Martinez fell short in her defense against Athena, who begins her first reign with the belt. The former NXT champion would walk away with the win after a shotgun dropkick sent Martinez into the exposed turnbuckle before hitting the O-face from the top rope for the pinfall. The theme of new champions would continue as the night went on, including in the match for the ROH six-man titles that saw Dalton Castle and the boys put their belts on the line against Brian Cage, Korn, and Toa Leona of the Embassy. In the end, the Embassy's power was too much when Korn and Toa assisted Brian Cage with a sit-out powerbomb on Brent for the 1-2-3. The show would then see the feud between the Jericho Appreciation Society and the Blackpool Combat Club continue when ROH Pure Champion Daniel Garcia defended his belt against Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler would eventually become a two-time Pure Champion, taking Garcia out with a flurry of elbows. This ends Garcia's reign that lasted 91 days that began after he defeated Yuta back in September on AEW Dynamite. Elsewhere on the show, ROH World Tag Team Champions FTR would defend their belts against the Briscoes in the third match of the trilogy, this time under double dog collar rules. In a bout that turned out to be just as brutal as expected and just as good as anyone expected, it was Dem Boys that walked away with the titles after J-Force daxed the tap after a crossface aided by the chain. The win marks the Briscoes' 13th reign with the ROH tag belts, with them finally defeating FTR for the first time. After the Briscoes left the arena, Dax and Cash would then be attacked by Colton and Austin Gunn, although the Briscoes would eventually return to run them off. It seems that FTR and the Gun Club feud will now continue on AEW television. The self-proclaimed king of television, Samoa Joe, would put his ROH television championship on the line last night against Bullet Club's Juice Robinson, who recently signed with All Elite Wrestling. Joe would continue his double title reign after the ROH TV and AEW TNT champion put Juice away with the Muscle Buster. After the show, Joe would speak with the media as part of the post-show scrum, name-dropping the absent Miro, as well as former champion and current WWE star Cody Rhodes, and he would say, "Oh, anybody can get it, let's be real clear about this. Like, if you think you're the guy that's going to come take this from me, show up, I'll whoop your ass. It don't matter if it's Miro, Cody can come back. Bring anybody." The main event of ROH Final Battle would pit the ROH World Champion Chris Jericho against former champion Claudio Castagnoli, with the title on the line. In the end, yet another new champion was crowned after Castagnoli forced Jericho to tap out whilst executing his patented swing, this after near 30 rotations. Despite losing their mentor William Regal to WWE, the Blackpool Combat Club has now added 2 pieces of gold to the stable, with both Claudio and Wheeler Yuta winning their respective matches. The win brings an end to Jericho's 80-day reign, finally meeting his match after a series of defenses against former Ring of Honor champions. ROH Final Battle wasn't the only wrestling show to take place on Saturday night, as WWE would also host the NXT Deadline event from the Performance Center. 5 wrestlers would fight for the chance to be #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship, with Cora Jade, Zoe Stark, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, and Indy Hartwell competing in the first ever Iron Survivor match. Over the course of the bout, Roxanne Perez would manage to win 2 falls, enough to outscore her opponents, with her now set to take on Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's Championship later down the line. NXT Deadline would also see 2 main roster stars, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston of the New Day, challenge Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Elton and Kit would find themselves on the losing side of the match after New Day hit the midnight hour, with Xavier pinning Elton Prince for the win. New Day now become triple crown tag champions in WWE, now having held the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT titles, joining the Revival, now known as FTR, and the Street Profits as the third team to do so. A second Iron Survivor match would take place later in the night that saw Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, Axiom, and JD McDonough fight for the #1 contendership for the NXT title. It was Grayson Waller that would walk away with the win, whose 3 falls were enough to overcome his opponents. Waller would now find himself challenging for the NXT Championship against Bron Breakker, who managed to retain his title against Apollo Crews in the show's main event. And next up, we have a major update on the future of Sasha Banks. Earlier this week, a report emerged from PW Insider that revealed Mercedes Varnado, formerly known as Sasha Banks, is scheduled to be at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th, 2023, the night of Wrestle Kingdom 17. It was noted that it hadn't been confirmed if Mercedes was set to appear on the show, although New Japan Pro Wrestling have arranged for her to be in the building. This led to questions on if she was officially done with WWE, or if a potential appearance had been arranged through them, similar to Shinsuke Nakamura's upcoming match with Great Muta in Pro Wrestling Noah. In an update provided by Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, it was announced that Mercedes and WWE are far apart on money, which has prevented any return from happening, and Dave would say, "Okay, there's a lot to this one. I had talked with WWE about it and they basically had nothing to say as far as the situation. Obviously, we've talked about this before. WWE had been talking to Banks about a return and they were very far apart on money. That was the last I had heard." Meltzer would then confirm that as it stands, Mercedes will be appearing on the Wrestle Kingdom show in a non-wrestling capacity, although she will start working matches for New Japan as the year unfolds, whilst confirming that this was not arranged through WWE, and he would add, "She is going to the show, she will be on the show, she will not be wrestling on the show. She has dates booked with NJPW. In her deal, which I believe is not signed, she could still sign with WWE and this could all fall apart, but she has pretty much agreed to their terms. As far as NJPW are concerned, they have a deal. She is going to be making appearances for NJPW in 2023. Barring a last minute change and her backing out on what she has agreed to, she's not going to go back to WWE, but you cannot always rule that out. That's where it all stands, but as of right now, she's done with WWE. Like I said, it could change at any moment." On top of this, Raj Giri of Wrestling Inc. would take to Twitter to double down on his report from June, where he revealed Mercedes had been released from WWE earlier this year, with him noting, "I had reported back in June that Sasha Banks received her WWE release. Clearly there was a provision that she couldn't do anything wrestling related until the new year. If she was still under WWE contract, WWE would have frozen it and she wouldn't be able to appear for NJPW." Fans have speculated that Varnado will confront the winner of the IWGP Women's Championship match between champion Kairi and Tam Nakano, with Mercedes having recently teased a match with Kairi on social media. And before we get to the rest of the video, we're hoping to get to 40,000 subscribers before Christmas. So if you regularly watch the videos and you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to Wrestle Planet and turn notifications on so you stay up to date with the latest news from the pro wrestling world. Next up, Tony Khan has announced that huge changes are coming to AEW. Last night's ROH Final Battle pay-per-view would be followed by a media scrum involving the company owner Tony Khan, where he revealed that ROH Weekly TV is set to return. Whilst there has been negotiations with broadcast partners over a deal since Khan took over the company earlier this year, it was announced that ROH TV will air on the Honor Club streaming service, which has been relaunched. It was also announced that the complete ROH archive has been added to Honor Club, something that wasn't the case in its previous incarnation, with all shows now available dating back to the company's beginnings in 2002. Ring of Honor would release an official statement to confirm the news, with it noting, "On the heels of a momentous Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view from College Park Center in Arlington, Texas, Tony Khan announced that the company's Honor Club streaming platform has officially relaunched, featuring more than 2,500 hours of premium professional wrestling content dating back to 2002, with new weekly television episodes coming soon to the platform. Fans can sign up immediately for Honor Club for just $9.99 per month by visiting watchroh.com. Honor Club is accessible via the ROH app on iOS, Android, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV. The relaunched platform features updated functionality where fans will be able to enjoy thousands of hours of Ring of Honor content, including classic matches from the full ROH television archive and hundreds of pay-per-views and special events. It was also confirmed that any new ROH pay-per-views will air first on pay-per-view via Bleacher Report and Fight Internationally, before later being added to the streaming service 90 days later. This is a similar model to what UFC uses for their Fight Pass service, ensuring pay-per-view revenue doesn't dry up. The relaunch might explain the numerous title changes that happened on Final Battle last night, with the likes of Chris Jericho and FTR remaining more exclusive to All Elite Wrestling, with Tony Khan confirming at the media scrum that ROH will now have less influence on AEW television. Khan would also confirm that some talents remain exclusive to ROH and that there will also be involvement from other promotions such as New Japan Pro Wrestling. Khan also teased working with DDT, Noah, as well as having some luchador presence. And speaking of the New Japan Pro Wrestling relationship relationship, he all but confirmed that 2023 will see the second Forbidden Door show, with the first event happening in June 2022. But what do you make of Ring of Honor becoming a more separate entity to AEW? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 upcoming wrestling free agents that you need to know.